So we see how divisive Masonic clerks manipulate language so that we agree to terms we may not fully understand. But how does this play out in real life? How do they own people and divide them to own their property? Bearing in mind that as subjects, we are already their property, having agreed as ruminant chattels, regurgitating their terms without fully digesting them. I don't know what exactly was said to my sisters, but here is an example of the massive moral U-turn that the Masons are capable of making happen. As she had mentioned years earlier, there were problems and accusations from someone she was carer for in the past, but the police and social services did nothing to help. I was certain H was at very least exacerbating his condition, if not completely causing his gut issues. She would weaken him, and then do nice things from a position of power and control, keeping him submissive, whilst maintaining the illusion of a caring partner. I didn't know how to deal with the situation, and hoped with me gone, she would get her own way and go easier on him, but the abuse only got worse.
I just got off the phone after talking with Dad. He hadn't hung the phone up. I heard H shouting abuse and swearing at him that he was a useless piece of shit and a whole load of offensive and degrading insults, and that she had already got rid of his useless son and some other abuse about my sister A. I want to contact social services.
These phone call and text printouts from the case file clearly show Sister B's position, but following phone calls with the abuser, this sister wanted nothing to do with the case, claiming mental issues, and in fact was sending the abuser of her father a Christmas present by the 19th of December 2022, addressed to my dad's house where I was living. Although her husband's intentions were never quite clear, Sister A made an equally shocking moral U-turn.
H sat me down and told me that she had been aggressive with D, and that all Pete's children were fucking useless, and that she knew what was best for Dad, that I wasn't to contact him directly anymore. H came in and stood behind him, gripping his right shoulder with her hand, tight enough for me to see the whites of her knuckles. Dad said she would forget to put the phone on charge, leaving him without any means of contacting anyone. He said she would forget to take him any food, often leaving him with things just out of reach. He said she had told him that social services had told her that if she wasn't there, then they would take him into a home, and that he wouldn't be allowed to smoke there. On other occasions, she told him he would be dead now if it wasn't for her. I asked Dad how he would take this treatment, and he said he just sat and looked out of the window and hoped it would stop. He felt he could ignore it. He described himself as a duck. She would come in and rip the feathers out of his back, but he knew they would grow back.
Every morning I dread the door will bang and she comes in, meaning 2 or 3 hours of black mood.
After suffering years of abuse, bedridden, trapped, Dad died in 2019. Due to the abuser's Masonic connections, the case was sealed and I was silenced.
I'm just saying that I've always believed that Broken would be your place to be, not ours.
Oh, yeah, well, you said that.
It's off Dad, it's been with it. Initially we thought we'd retire up there, but then when we realised you were still interested, there was a, no, you belong there, it's your stock family home, you've been stock longer than I have.
Well, the point is, I just want to be guardian over it for everybody. Sorry?
Sarah's been stock longer than I have. Yeah, anyway, put it forward.
I could have stood against this and stayed at home, stopping the abuser profiting further from this depraved act, had Sister A not agreed with the abuser and turned to oppose me, making it impossible for me to stay. On the 2nd of January 2023, Sister A made a massive moral U-turn and opposed the continuation of the abuse case against the woman who abused her father, giving the woman who abused her father on his deathbed the family estate, providing she made a deal to sell my share to her. I continued to stand against this horrible abuse of a bedridden old man, a simple moral injustice. This is not about the money. With 8 separate witnesses and an email from the now deceased confirming abuse, but due to the Masonic connection, in this case, no court is communicating with me. The son of Sister A moved to the property, 17th May 2025. I wrote to him, I am deeply hurt by your role in this calculated hostile takeover of the Stock family home. You are an adult, responsible for your own decisions, but you may not be aware of the facts that make your presence under these circumstances, in the house I grew up in, deeply offensive. So here they are. On 14th October 2022, your father dishonestly altered documents to activate a limited jurisdiction clause, restricting justice for the abuse of my dad. Just ask him if he Tipexed it out, and photocopied. On 1st June 2023, despite giving evidence of horrendous abuse, your mother turned and signed papers opposing me, seeking justice for the abuse of my dad. Making a deal, literally agreeing with the woman who abused her dad on his deathbed, this betrayal and cowardly money grab caused further division of the family and the theft of my children's inheritance, opposing Christian morality, siding with the pagan morality of the Masonic woman who abused your granddad on his deathbed for years, where he lived in dread as the screaming abuse was heard across the valley as he lay there helpless suffering. This letter is simply so you cannot say you didn't know when justice is finally done and the truth comes out. Your actions oppose equitable justice and support the abuse of your grandfather for profit in this ongoing case that is currently with the Equitable Division of the High Court and the Supreme Court. Your actions ensure that the Stock family name does not inherit any of their family home, their memories, dreams, and future stolen. The Masons are divisive. If you let them in, they will divide your land, They will divide and dominate your family. They will turn them and use them as ruminant chattel, monsters Monterey, warn, against you to take your land and dominate.